Okay, as she just said, I am Phoneshia Wells, and I am developing the course HP 211, which is healthcare systems. I have taught online courses before at other schools, and I've also taught here for a year and a half. But this is a new course for me, so I wanted to find a way to make my courses a little bit more effective and just kind of improve and learn some of the new techniques that are now being used, like voice threads and things of that nature that I haven't used in the past. So that's why I've been working with Megan in the development of this course. HP 211 is as I said, it's a healthcare system class, and this is just a class where it's basically provides a broad overview of the healthcare systems to anyone who's interested in just knowing about the healthcare system, how it operates, how it's paid, things of that nature. But most of the people that enroll in this course are healthcare majors, people who are going to actually major in healthcare. What I've done is I've done some screenshots of what my course looks like. One of the things that I tried to do this time was to make it a lot more simple, so that students will be able to assess the course and assess the items in the course more than one way. So I have the first thing that we do is a welcome. I welcome the students, do my little intro. Thank you for choosing the class. We also have a discussion. Our discussion one, I introduce myself, tell a little bit of background about myself and, my credentials, and then I also allow them to tell me something about themselves, where they're from, why they're taking the course. And I always like to know why the students are taking the course, because sometimes you'll find out later in the course that the ones who are taking it just because may not, put as much in the course as the ones who are taking it, because it's required or because they have an interest in the course. So it just kind of helps me to kind of find out why they're in the course in the first place. I have my welcome, my announcements, my syllabus, module 1, 2, 3, and 4. Within each module, you'll see on the next page, within each module, I have it broken down by weeks. Also down here, I have my learning tools where you can check your grades instead of having to go down here. You can do it in both places, but these are just shortcuts for the students so that they don't, have to email me every time they want to know how to check their grades, or they can join the discussion from right here as opposed to going down. Also, they can send emails, submit assignments, and also take a quiz. And also, we have the technical support shortcut where they can, if they have any issues that I may not be able to assist them with, they can contact someone from technical support to get their help as soon as possible. On the next screen, it shows what inside a module would look like. So I broke it down into weeks 1, 2, 3. Now I haven't finished with this course, we've been working on it, but for week 1, what I always do is also, I always add, and this is in my syllabus too, I add dates. Week 1 will be this date from this date. And that helps also to clarify to students. I just learned this from experience. When you don't put the dates, they get their weeks mixed up, so they may send me an assignment that's not due this week or it was due the previous week. Oh, I thought we was on this week. So I always try to connect them with dates so that it's just easier for them and it's easier for me to keep up with what's due. And inside every folder, I write on the outside so they can kind of see what is in the inside when they're going to click on it, so they can kind of get a idea of what they're going to be doing for each week. So that's basically what each week will look like. And some weeks may have more than others, just depending on the week. And this just shows once the folder is open, what you will see. Now I do have voice threads that's going to be put into each week. We haven't exported those yet, so in each week I will have a voice thread that will kind of complement their reading and also the assignments that they're going to be doing for each week.
Is that you talking about the content, or is it something else?
Yes. So that's why we don't have all of them, because it's taken a while. As you said, this is a new course, so I'm still learning, I'm still reading, I'm highlighting things that I feel like, are important, or things that I feel like the text maybe didn't include. So it's taken a while to, get those voice threads. And then, of course, with the voice threads, I'm constantly deleting and re-recording just because it doesn't, meet my standards or whatever. So it's taken a while. The students will be engaged in the course through discussions. We're going to have 4 discussions in the class. And what I've done is, working with Megan, we kind of figure out for this course, this is just an introductory course. I don't want to overwhelm the students with too many discussions. So I've done a discussion for each module. So what we're gonna do is for every month, the first one is the intro. So it has nothing to do with the course except just getting to know the students. Then we're gonna have three discussions. Actually, it's four discussions, and it's five with the intro. We're gonna have four modules. So after every module starts off with the reading, of course. After the reading, you're gonna have review questions at the end of each chapter. I'll kind of pick some of those questions where I want the students to kind of brainstorm a little bit and kind of think about, what they read. Then we're gonna have quizzes after each module. So after every three chapters, you're gonna have a quiz that's gonna also require the students to recall some information that they've read and learned from the text. We're gonna have my voice threads and also maybe videos. If I feel like it's a video out there on YouTube or someone else that maybe taught the course that I feel like is beneficial, I add those in to kind of help. And then we always end with the case studies. So with the case studies, because it's healthcare, I would make up some type of case and allow them to apply the skills that they have learned with the case studies. And then we'll go back with the discussions and kind of wrap it up. So once I've seen what everybody has submitted, I'll see if there's a need for me to clarify some things based on the case studies, or should we talk about something that's happening currently. So I always leave the discussions open last. So those are something that I would make kind of at the spur of the moment. If I see that it needs to be more information from the quizzes and the case studies and things of that nature, it'll be a continuation. If not, we may talk about something that hasn't currently take care of for that discussion question. The interaction from students to student is discussion boards. Every discussion that we have, I require the students to respond to at least two students. What I've noticed, if I don't require that, they don't read other students' posts. They simply just, make their post and they're finished with it. And I noticed that they haven't gone back in anytime that week. So I require them to respond to at least two other students' posts so that they can, learn from those students, because it's valuable not only, for the students, but also, from what is not only valuable for the person who's posting, but you also going to learn, if you read other people's posts. So by doing that, I've noticed that some of them respond to everybody, by just requiring them to do that. And some of them just do that too and they're finished. So it just encouraged them to, work together. The case studies, I allow them to work with other classmates on their case studies, because somebody, as I said, may think about the case a lot different than one student. So I allow them to work together on the case studies. Also by email, if they don't understand something, they can shoot me an email and I can send them an email back, explain those things before they actually do. Interaction.
So, do you encourage them to email each other?
Yes, I do. And most of the time I don't, I think most of them will email another student before they, get to the professor most of the time. I think that's what happened, because when I started getting emails, I noticed it's about 5 or 6 emails about the same thing. And that's when I go to the discussion, that's when I go back and make an announcement and say, hi guys, I see that everybody is having the same concern. So I go back and make an announcement so that I don't have to get any, more. And I notice if it gets to that point, I know it's something that I didn't clarify in the beginning. So I have to go back and make an announcement and adjust. Interaction from student to student, kind of just answer her question. Email, I encourage them to email their classmates, discussion board, and also, this is from instructor to student, and also the voice threads is where I would present the course to them, basically just like they're in the class. They get the same type of lecture that in-class students would get. Interaction between students and the content will be the case studies, the review questions, and the quiz. This is where they're engaging with the content, where they're recalling the information, I'm seeing what knowledge they have gained, and also if they're able to apply those skills, to actual healthcare setting. What I like most about this course design, the simplicity of it. Working with Megan helped me too, because so it's going to also cause me to go back and adjust my stress management class that I'm teaching now. It's a lot more simplified. That makes it easier for me and also easier for the students. It's going to cut down on the amount of emails I'm getting from students. Hey, what's due this week? Things of that nature. It's easily accessible, so they can just click on module 1, go into module 1, go to week 1, and once they click on week 1, they see everything that's due for that week. My quizzes, my discussions, my assignments, everything. So you don't have to even wonder what it's going to do for week 1. Everything is in that one folder, and I think that that's going to be a lot easier for them. And then I like breaking it up into the modules. Something that I gathered from The other presenters, I need to go back and set objectives for each module. I think that'll be a lot more easier for myself, and also it'll be better for the students so they can know what they should have gained, from each module. I'm just not putting up information or assignments for them to do, but they can go back and see what they should have gained from those particular modules. So that's something that I did take from, doing all these presentations.
I was giggling because it said stress management, and it sounded like it was going to help manage your stress to design it in that way.
What did you learn from this experience which could be implemented into other courses? I made sure that it was objective driven. A lot of times when I look back at my other class, I had to go back and say, why did I have them to do this assignment? So I made sure that everything aligned with the objectives, and I tried to keep, focused and have everything aligned with the objectives. Making sure that the assignments were paced, that's one of the things that Megan and I talked about. We want to pace them. We don't want them doing discussion every week. We don't want them doing case studies every week. We want to kind of pace it so they can have time to kind of, absorb the information, make sure that it really, know the information. So that's why we got the discussion, the quizzes, the case studies, and those review questions at the end of every chapter. So they're still engaging with it, but not so much where they're, getting overwhelmed with the information. So I wanted to make sure that it was manageable for the students. Connect assignments to reinforce learning, and that's what I did. As I said, we do the quizzes, we do review questions, then the quizzes, then we do the case studies, and then the discussion kind of wraps everything up if it's needed. If not, we use the discussion for some current event in healthcare. What are some important things faculty need to keep in mind when developing an online course? Making sure that the material is relevant to the course and to the objective, and not just filling in spaces just to say, we have assignments. Making sure that it has a purpose. Making sure that the course is manageable for the students and also for yourself, because you're the one who's going to have to, grade all these assignments and things. So making sure that it's manageable, and I always want to make sure that it's manageable because I always like to thoroughly, review their assignments, especially discussion boards. I'm one of the ones that like to go back and, give my feedback. When they have assignments, I want to give feedback. And after my teaching my first time online, students were shocked to have feedback. We didn't know you were going to read our journals. Like, yes, that's why I have you doing them. So, so that was just, real, it was touching to know that, it mattered to them that someone was actually reading their work as opposed to just having them doing something, just to get a grade. So after, I was able to get that kind of feedback, I was like, you know what, I need to spend more time just really, reading their work and reading about, reading their journal entries. And what I found out, especially for stress management, a lot of students are more open with the online course than you're ever in a face-to-face course. Because, hey, I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. So you're, a lot open. So, I was able to help students a lot more, and they were able to open up a lot more with stress management. Sometimes reading some of those journals made me stressful. Made me stressed out, just thinking about what some of the students, were actually going through. And also making sure that when you're developing an online course that you have effective communication from the beginning. Set, in your syllabus, set it straight, in your announcements, make sure you're making it clear and clarifying things because it just only helps as the course progresses. And also helps at the end when you have someone say, well, you didn't say this and I didn't get the grade I wanted, and you go back to my syllabus said, and you sent this email saying that I understood and I had no questions in regards to the syllabus. So just making sure that communication is effective from the beginning. That helps with a lot to, alleviate a lot of issues in the long run. And how do I define success in online? I look at the students' performance, and that's why I told how that group, I like their portfolio ideal. Now, I don't know how I would set that up, but I like looking at the performance and just seeing, their growth. Maybe you had a student that were, posting in discussion and they didn't use correct grammar, or they were using, some students kind of talk with the text. So I have to, send them those emails and say, hey, I understood what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but remember this is an academic course. We're going to use complete sentence. We're going to, you have to kind of, tell them those kind of things. So just looking at students' growth and their performance at midterms and also, at finals. And a lot of times I look at performance way before this because I try to get to the students before midterm so that you're not failing at midterm. then I look again, and I always shoot out reminders and announcements saying, hey, I see some of you all are, a little relaxed. We had some of you all who never missed assignments or missing assignments. It's not over yet. The A can become a C, the F can become a D, if you just, pick up and, do some work. So I always send out announcements when I kind of look at and I see a couple students who I know are my good students, so I was selecting out for students that, could be doing better, who are just not turning in assignments. I try to shoot a email or a announcement to, kind of encouraging everybody. And also I just look at student evaluation after the course is over. I kind of see what they like, what they didn't like, and, if I can change, it can be changed. Some things that you're just not going to like. But if it can be changed, I'll try to change those things. Working with Megan was very enjoyable, especially working with someone who's very passionate about, helping with development of online courses. She would get to a point and she'd be like, oh, I have this good idea. I think you should implement this in your course. So just working with her, and seeing how passionate she was about it, it helped me to just, develop a little bit more passion in regards to the online course, because as you all know, it's a lot of work. And even though you may think you made it as perfect as possible, the first 2 weeks of school, you'll get some of those emails and like, oh, that's not clear. So you have to go back and, change something else. But it's an ongoing, never-ending thing teaching online courses. I think we should get paid for 24/7 because you never on break. I can be out eating. I have my email sent to my phone. I can be out eating somewhere. I got knocked out of the test. I was only on question 1, and you're trying to figure out, can I get to this? On some phones or some iPads, you can get to them, reset it there, and sometimes you have to wait till you get home. So it just depends. So you never get a break from online courses. And then just working with Megan just kind of gave me some accountability, because she would give me deadlines to do things or whatever. So that just helped me to get it done a lot faster, so that over the holiday break, hopefully, I'm not still working on, classes that I have for the spring. So that's just my experience, and I was happy that she invited me on to share that experience with you all. So
Yes, and thank you for coming.
thank you all for having me. Anybody have any questions about anything?
I really like the fact that you actually read the assignments and check
That's what I was
through
thinking.
it. Because I remember when I first came to the States and my English was not that good. I can count, it was like only 2 instructors that corrected my grammar, and I appreciated it so much.
Yes.
So much. I was like, oh wow.
And I had a student that was just coming from here. I think it was maybe it wasn't this semester, but last semester. And I kept correcting things, and then that's when she finally sent me a message saying that she, wasn't from here. And I was able to understand why. Because I would get like lowercase i's and, things like that. But I always, connected to a rule in English and, apply, tell her this is where you can go get more help. So, because I'm working on right, and that's why I always do the discussion questions, because I'm thinking that during those times, that's when they can give me that kind of information, so I can know, this may be an issue with the student, but I'm not gonna, fail a student, because if their work was good, it's just with simple things like that she would forget to do. But she was a good student. Yeah. Okay.
Well, and this is pretty, actually a question maybe for everybody.
Okay.
I would like your answer too, but
Okay.
is about the sheer management of actually reading everybody's stuff. Because I feel like that's part of like why going to the portfolio, I think maybe helpful too. You still filming?
Oh, you're
Is the actual just like really being able to manage the number of student posts and responses and
What's
just
your
so
goodness?
what is your strategy for management?
Well, how big is your enrollment?
24.
So I think that's what I have too about that.
And that's what I was saying for my previous class. I had, like right now, I have 10 discussions. On this one, 4 discussions. See, I've learned from experience, that's a minute. And like you said, I have like 26 students. That's a lot of discussions to read. And then you're reading their responses to students. And I just kind of skim through them sometimes just to make sure everybody's being respectable and things of that nature, that they, maybe if they need clarification or something. But it's hard, and like now I'm gonna be full time in the fall, so that's one of the reasons why I scaled back to four discussion versus 10.
And that's when voiceover comes in handy because they can just say it and you don't have to be, reading the text like the things that they write. But that does not apply to you because it's writing a sentence. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But yours is a lot, probably more writing, but we have 8 discussions in chemistry right now. And they're 50-point discussions. I mean, they count as much as their exams.
Wow.
They're serious business. And they write like entire pages worth in their discussions and they get comments back. And we've been going through in the class I run now, we start out with it's okay to Google references and we work through all semester long increasing peer review referencing even and relative examples of what we're doing throughout class. So it's kind of like what you're talking about.
But I'm asking, like, you personally,
Yes.
how do you manage, whether we talk about blocking out, I said from 1 to 2, but like,
Yes.
literally, what is your management strategy for getting through it? Because I need some skills, some strategies, and I'm asking.
I do
I do
the calendar, the schedule, like what.
And I just try to look at it every day, like, 'cause some students, sometimes, the majority of students are gonna do it last minute.
Right.
So if someone sends it, the first day is open to be submitted, I go ahead and read that one.
Right.
So I try to read them as, as often as they are, being submitted. And that, like I said, it works now because I don't have that class. So I may have to change, what I'm doing in this set time.